The main goal of this production is to provide information to people, much of which is quite well hidden. It is our sincere hope that everyone who views this material will be inspired to question things and to search out the truth for themselves. The arguments and conclusions contained within this work are the accumulated result of over 25 years of investigation and personal research. Many of the arguments presented here are not new. However, in order to see the larger picture, it is necessary that the many smaller pieces of the puzzle first be put into order. The information contained herein is as important to mankind as it is urgent. However, in an almost unfathomable act of irresponsibility, it is for the most part being ignored by governments, academics and media all over the world. This film is designed to make it clear to the viewer that there is more to the workings of this world than how it appears on the surface, and that this fact can readily be proven. It is the opinion of the makers of this film that the people of the world very much need to understand the true nature of the problems faced by the human family in order to find real and meaningful solutions to them, and that these problems do seriously need to be addressed in order to secure a peaceful and prosperous future. We do not ask or expect anyone to believe what is presented within the chapters of this film without first investigating all the evidence for themselves, and we very much urge you to do so. Remember, the truth is always out there somewhere, and sometimes right in front of our eyes, if we would only choose to notice. Over the last several decades, the human consciousness has been saturated with a huge intertwining web of conspiracy theories, which are often too overwhelming for the average human to understand, and may in fact provide people with more questions than answers. And if someone is to suddenly see the bigger picture of what is really going on, and seriously tries to alert others, then the public has been carefully trained to view them as a crackpot, or label them as another conspiracy theorist. It has been very cleverly orchestrated, so that no one ever discovers the whole truth about anything, and if anyone ever does figure it out, they are ridiculed and silenced. Now, however, due to the growth of the internet, it has become a lot harder to silence people and to keep information contained. So what if a global conspiracy does indeed exist? And what if people are kept blind to it because they have been carefully taught to associate the word theory with the word conspiracy, so they never take the time to see that which is right before their eyes? And what if this conspiracy deeply affects our future, our education system, our media, our government, our monetary system, and our beautiful planet? If such a conspiracy does indeed exist, then most certainly it would affect everyone on a personal level. So would it not be imperative for you to become aware of such information, both for your own well-being and for that of your children? It is quite understandable that due to the overwhelming nature of this topic, many people do not even want to begin to look into such things. But if one does take the time to look and steps back a little further, a definite picture comes clearly into view. and what is found is a situation that could be easily rectified. Would people simply take the time to become aware?
The secret organizations of the world power elite are no longer secret. It's no longer a theory. It's no longer a theory. It's no longer a theory.
All matter is merely energy condensed to a slow vibration.
The only truth you know is what you get over this tube.
We are all one consciousness experiencing itself subjectively.
An entire generation that never knew anything that didn't come out of this tube. This tube is the gospel, the ultimate revelation.
Their whole purpose throughout history has been to teach a small number of people how to become adept at controlling everyone else.
There's no such thing as death. Life is only a dream, and we're the imagination of ourselves.
The table is tilted, folks. The game is rigged. And nobody seems to notice. Nobody seems to care.
Whether you decide to take the time to listen to so-called conspiracy theories or not, there are some things that should be clearly understood by all, and these are not conspiracy theories by any stretch of the imagination. They are well documented, quite traceable, and very provable facts, and these facts are as follows. There is one ruling bloodline that exists on this earth. This ruling bloodline is very old. It is the same bloodline that has always ruled the earth ever since the days of ancient Egypt, and it is very pervasive. For example, many people think that anyone can get to be President of the United States, but the reality is that a large number of presidents are in fact related, and their lineage can be traced back to European monarchy, and in particular to the line of William of Orange. This elite bloodline can actually be traced back a good deal further than that, and even back as far as the royalty of ancient Egypt, and it is this very same bloodline that has ruled the earth ever since, and to which the British monarchy and many other world leaders can ultimately be traced. The families of this line are steeped in ancient traditions and symbolism, and they do not attempt to hide these connections. Just a look at the royal coat of arms, the royal regalia and the coronation throne clearly demonstrates these connections. In fact, the signs and symbols are always right there in plain view for discerning eyes to clearly see. One only needs to take the time to look. Any real investigation shows us that the entire financial system by which the world is run today is actually operated by the Crown. And contrary to popular belief, the Crown does not refer to the royal family or to the British monarchy. The Crown actually refers to the inner city of London, which is in fact a privately owned corporation that functions as a completely separate sovereign state outside the jurisdiction of England. Most people are completely unaware that when they swear allegiance to the Crown, they are actually swearing allegiance to this private corporate empire. The inner city of London also has two sister city-states of Vatican City and Washington's District of Columbia, both of which are also separate sovereign states within their host countries. Each of these three city-states has its own flag, its own laws, its own news services and its own police forces, and each pays no taxes to the host country in which it is located. These three cities form a private, covert empire that operates the entire Western world, that is known as the Empire of the Three Cities. The inner city of London is the centre for monetary control. Vatican City is the centre for spiritual control. Washington, D.C. is the centre for military control. It is the individuals who control this private corporate empire who call all the shots and pull all the strings. These people control all governments and all mainstream media via the stranglehold they have over the world monetary system, and more people are becoming aware of the reality of this all the time. The beginnings of this private empire can be traced back to a secret meeting that took place in 1773 between Mayor Amschel Rothschild and the heads of 12 other powerful families, including such dynasties as the Warburgs, the Schiffs, and the Oppenheimers. Following this meeting, Rothschild employed the services of a man by the name of Adam Weishaupt in the creation of a society known today as the Bavarian Illuminati, which was itself officially founded 3 years later in 1776. Many people think the Illuminati is a myth, but in actual fact this society is still in operation to this day and has since become the most powerful organization in the world. The surviving members of this order are the individuals who also indirectly own and operate the World Bank. It is the World Bank who covertly dictates global oil prices and whose shareholders also control the global Federal Reserve banking system. Each Western government actually has the legal right to coin its own money and to control its value, but they do not. They borrow money from this privately run central banking system. Through the magic of fractional reserve banking, these central banks are able to create money from thin air via the creation of money as debt, and then profit on it by charging interest on the loans. Most people are duped into believing that their taxes pay for infrastructure, such as road and schools, and without taxes, the country would fall apart. But this is completely untrue, for the money is in fact borrowed from a private bank. And then you are taxed in order to pay off the interest on the loan. No matter how you choose to look at things, one thing must be clearly understood, and that is that every person in the Western world who has a job is forced each year to give away approximately 3 months' worth of their wages in taxes, and that money goes directly into the pockets of the private individuals who own and run the Federal Reserve banking system. It's one big, privately run scam.
We've been lied to. We've been lied to. We've been lied to. We've been lied to. We've been lied to.
There are people who are guiding your life and you don't even know it.
We've been lied to.
You had better wake up and understand.
There is indeed a global conspiracy going on, and the way it has been carried out and concealed is through control of the global money system, and hence control of all other subsequent systems of importance down the food chain, such as governments and media. It's important to understand that control of the global money system has been achieved through control of the global central banking system, and that this system is a privately run enterprise. It is a private business that runs for a profit, and it is owned and operated by wealthy international banking dynasties such as the Rothschilds, the Morgans, and the Rockefellers. And please clearly understand that when you control the money supply, you control the government. When you control the government, you control the people. When you control the money supply and the flow of information, you control the government, you control the people, and you control everything they know and everything they believe to be true. When you do it globally, you control all. It's that simple. During World War II, every country on both sides of the conflict was financed by the very same private bankers who lent out every dollar these countries used to finance their war effort at interest. In the ensuing years, the ordinary people from both sides saw great hardships and suffering. And during the fighting, there were heavy casualties amongst all the peoples involved.